Let's talk Cybertechnica.
Welcome back. Okay, so this is a kitbash channel. I figure it's about time we actually looked at some of my kitbashes. This is my Saar gang, the Strix Syndicate. I've chucked a load of people's names at the end just to say thank you for donating bits for the project, because I just wouldn't have got it done without them. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, so this is Strix Syndicate, a bunch of rebel Saar who worked for Frightstone Sticks, the Saar bounty hunter. He obviously stole away with a load of information and tech and set up his own manufactorum. He's hired these guys to go out and search for tech for them. They have loads of black market links, dodgy rogue traders, off-world contacts that they can pull in loads of Neotech. They'll also take tech from other houses, feed it back to the STC and just create hybrid technology to give them the advantage in combat, and therefore they're able to pull back more technology for Frightstone. The fluff is that he's implanted a cogitator into each one of the brains, and this has infected them with an AI. And the AI is actually the AI from the original STC, but it uses holographic information systems, and with a hologram, any fragment of a hologram will contain all of the information of the whole. So essentially they all culminate to create a data bank for Frightstone's STC, essentially. So let's have a look. This is the Prime mainframe, and I just wanted a really kind of heavy set, stoic, bit of a Dr. Von Doom vibe going on there. Just a real kind of mean looking badass. He's not in a hurry to get anywhere. He doesn't need to be. He's gonna fuck you up if he gets hold of you, if one of his boys or girls gets hold of you. I really wanted an empty hand pose to kind of suggest that casual, even in the middle of conflict. He just doesn't give any shits. Archeo-Tech body, Necron overload, shoulder pads heavily cut down, and obviously the filthy Necron carved out of it. Created like a generator at the back there using one of the weapon accessories from Commander Shadowsun, electro priest pipe there, and I give him some leg support with pistons from the Orlock Mastiffs just to give him that Robocop style calf there. I was going to leave him like that. I really like the silhouette against the rest of them, but then I saw a guy's work called The War Singer, and he creates this electricity effect on his Necrons using hot glue and wire, and I just thought, wow, that looks pretty phenomenal. He can do stuff with hot glue that I can't do with model and clay, and it's infuriating but extremely impressive. So yeah, he's sizzling with some kind of crazy technology that's either about to blow up or God knows, but I just thought it looked badass, so really looking forward to seeing it painted and it's all neon green and crackling around him. Alright, and the reason his hands are empty is I made him drones. Now these have no in-game effect other than being the weapons that they are, so that's obviously a plasma gun. The drone is made out of bits of Neotech grav cutter, carved up and shaped, stuck together. That's fully magnetized, so I can switch out any loadout I want for him and basically just change the underslung weapon for something else. This is his shield drone, and I made this using a Tau drone, heavily chopped up, added a Saar shield generator on the front and added some of that electricity effect just to kind of show that it's in communication with mainframe, and they just get moved out of the way on the board when they get in the way. They just look cool. Rule of cool, the only rule that matters. Next up, my Augmech. So Augmech are standard champions. This is my sniper build, so he's got a custom hotshot las gun, or long las depending on how I end up rolling with that. He's got his head nice and tucked in, looking down the barrel there. All of my Augmech have deathmark heads. You'll find that with all of my units, they all have different heads to differentiate them. I just really like that cycloptic gaze as they stare you down. railgun of some description from Tau, heavily kind of carved out with a brass barrel added in there, and then a suppressor from the Delac kit. A bit of finger surgery there. He needs his ponytail adding, but he's almost done. A little bit of detail work done on his calves there, where I've given him Belisarius Call's feet. So there's a tech priest out there somewhere on bricks muttering under his breath, but this guy doesn't give two shits. He's off shooting people. I know a lot of people don't like the stood up on a bit of rubble kind of pose, but I thought that lent itself really well to a sniper pose. So yeah, I haven't quite decided on a name for this guy yet, so that's in flux at the moment. Same with this young lady. This is like my gunfighter build. So she has dual plasma pistols, but I've represented that with these custom plasma gauntlets that I created using Shadow Sun's forearms, Vansar plasma pistols cut up and carefully grafted onto the top there. It looks a bit rough, but that's plastic putty, and that's actually really quite smooth. And then obviously a plasma canister on either side of the forearms there. Again, deathmark head, just to give you that cycloptic, and it just means I can really go get them looking down the barrel poses like that. She's running forward, a little bit of foot surgery to alter her toe, which you can't really make out a great deal there because of all the blue tack in use at the moment, but I learned from experience that painting the bases and the minis separate is usually the better way to go. She still needs a ponytail attaching. Last org mech, this is my beefy boy. So this is Firewall. He has got a name. Again, deathmark head, looking straight down at you. If you see the glow of his eye, it's probably too late. Devastator plasma cannon, really heavily cut up and converted, just to kind of show that they feed that information into the system and they can just spit out any kind of hybrid that they feel is necessary for the job at hand. Full servo harness on this bad lad. His ponytail resting over his shoulder there, quite like that. Just gives that kind of set, like into the ground, looking pretty beefy and scary. He's almost finished, to be fair. My only Archeo-Tech. Now this is my take on the spider rig. Now I had built one originally and I wasn't quite set on it. It was just an Archeo-Tech with some of these Necron, well not even these Necron legs, it was smaller ones coming over his shoulders, and it wasn't working for us. And then a bit of inspiration struck. I was watching a video about the Iron Spider action figure, actually, because I'm a proper nerd, and I loved how kind of cool and threatening these arms could look, while the main body could just be kind of stood casual. So I incorporated that, given almost like Iron Spider, Dr. Octopus kind of feel. That allowed me to opt for this kind of martial arts stance. So he's got a bare hands, but he's just ready to come along and kick the shit out of you. He's actually just standard Vansar body, standard Vansar head. There's only him and the Arachno rig have those heads, so it's nice to get those themes in when I'm customizing everything so heavily. I need to magnetize where his gun's going to attach, so I can just switch out different pistols for different loadouts. But I just thought, as a melee character for Vansar is such a novelty, why not give him something a little bit special? And I thought that this spider rig looks like it could have a versatile range of 3 and cut your face off from across the room, whereas I didn't really get that from the official models. Okay, right, probably the least complete of all of them are my tech. These are my standard gangers, so you go on there with suppression laser, and I've just used a Delac shotgun attached to the stock of a Vansar gun. It's got just an AdMech cyborg finger, because obviously they're obsessed with cutting bits off and sticking robot bits on. My tech, I'll use the Dark Eldar Reaver heads, just because I love that kind of Daft Punk aesthetic. Just glass balls with lights going on underneath, or just a blank fishbowl head. I need to shave the flick off there. There's a lot of work on these boys need doing, to be fair. I'll show you what I'm actually doing with the Reaver heads there. I've started shaving down this young lady's head there, so it'll be more of like a flat end to the rear of the helmet. This is my Grenadier using a Neotech body. She's just about to yeet that grenade into the enemy. She's got obviously the pulled pin in that hand and the grenade in that hand, and I've made her a bandolier using thin styrene and several different kinds of grenades and pouches, just to make it look like she's ready to probably blow up throwing a plasma grenade, to be honest. Okay, let's have a look. Right, my Subtech, probably... Now, these are my Juves, and I've probably spent far too long on my Juves, but I really like this kind of... this idea of them kind of just tearing through the Underhive ahead of the rest of the gang. They've got a little bit more speed than your standard gang, and not too much, but I didn't feel any problem in representing that with these guys. These will have hex mark heads. Now, there's two different kinds of hex mark head, and I've got one of each on each of my Subtech. This is Subtech Unit 42 or Unit 1, I can't remember what I've called them now, but it's Las Sub Carbine there, just jumping over a ventilation pipe, ready to come and either kick your throat out with these sharp toes or shoot you in the face, one of the two. Good source of open hands for anyone looking for them is the chain rasp kit. Okay, I'm really pleased with the sense of weight and movement in these guys. I think it's really important when you're choosing a dynamic pose to avoid that kind of balloon tied to a rock feel that you can sometimes get. Again, it's probably one of my favourites, this guy here. He's just leaping through the debris in the Underhive, ready to kind of come and shoot you in the face and scan your tech and take it back for Fragstone. Whenever I'm building a Kitbash model, I try to take the silhouette, and the silhouette can suggest a character, it can suggest a kind of unit type, but I try and make them all as unique as possible, so there's no real two in the gang that look too similar, because I just find it a bit boring, and that's just me personally, obviously. Well, there we are. Okay, so my Neotech. So the first one, so my Neotech, obviously quite a big departure from the grav cutters that you get in the kit, but as I'm aligning these guys with Fragstone Strix, I thought it'd be really cool if they had a combination of the grav cutter tech and the wing assembly tech that Fragstone uses. A very beautiful man from Australia sent me these out of production Forge World Corsair backpacks. So obviously it'd be fucking rude not to use them, wouldn't it? Really pleased with how these guys have turned out. They use witch heads. So again, Glasstone's a bit more of a rounded head at the back though. I'm giving him a hand flamer, a bit of foot surgery to change the point of his toe. And they just use, they're pinned to the flight stand basically. I have full length flight stands like this, and then I have shorter ones for terrain where that might prove problematic and for storage and stuff. He is Mal, and this is Glitch, my other Neotech. These guys took between like 8 and 9 kits just to make one model, so they're pretty parts intense, but I'm really pleased with the results, so definitely worth it. Took me a lot of iterations to get these wings and backpacks right. I've tried like acetate, different kinds of wing, and just nothing seemed to work for me. And then someone donated me some Tau bits, and it just clicked together, and I came up with this like kind of Gundam style wing that you get on the back of those kind of Japanese mechs, and that just really worked for me. Again, a witch head there, but I've had to fill the glyph in with plastic putty so that it looks nice and smooth when I paint it. She's got custom Hotshot Las pistols. Basically they're just taken from the Delac kit and have the suppressor sawn off. Again, I really kind of the silhouette really stands out to me as to who that is and what she is. I believe that's everyone except Override. Now, Override is my Arachnorig. So the Arachnorig is obviously a big servo suit that's used for industry and combat. Now, the first illustration we ever got of one was just a head, and then the second illustration we got of one was like a more of a backpack with kind of supported legs, and I just wanted to go in a slightly different direction. It's actually my third Arachnorig, but this is definitely by far my favourite. So I'm using the Shadow Sun body, Commander Shadow Sun from Tau. Obviously just a standard Vansar head in there. I think it's important when you're using lots of different bits from different factions is to find those unifying pieces that really tie in and make it a little bit more cohesive among the gang. You know, I'm not afraid of the fact that there's a lot of Tau and Necron in my gang, because it just fits into the lore. They've been getting off-world samples sent to scan in and kind of reverse engineer into these kind of custom war machines. And that's what this is. This is no longer any good for any kind of utility. This is just for climbing, running fast, and cutting your fucking guts out, basically. Dual las carbines on the front of both of the gun mounts on her forearms there. Use a bit of guitar wire that plug into those ports on the side. Obviously cut a massive bit of gribbly off the back there to create this custom rear axle where the back legs can attach to. Just using some PVC tubing and styrene sheet to kind of create that shape. Obviously lots of Necron parts, so this is from some Necron character, Xerxes or whatever it's called. And then the front legs are taken from a Reanimator kit. Yeah, and then all the blades just come from a Wraith kit. There's obviously magnetizer. You can move them, but not really for moving. It's more just for so I can take that off and store them, or get her into kind of more difficult terrain pieces where that would just be too high. She's actually shorter than a Slave Ogren, which works really well. I'm really pleased with how such a large character's come out at such a good scale. And then she's pushing herself off a broken Aquila, just ready to mess your day up, basically. She has the toes from an Amble grafted in to where the hooves were on the exosuit, just because I wanted a more kind of human style foot, I guess. Vansar badge cut from a shield generator. I don't know if you can see those there. There's like two claw things on either side. They're from the Archeo-Tech kit. They're like a chest decoration, but I thought they looked really cool on either side, like claws or fangs coming over that, like a decoration. But they're also, I imagine them to be pneumatic clasps, so you twist those, air hisses out, and she can get out of the suit when she wants to. Although why you would ever get out of this if you had one, I really don't know. The detail on the forearm there is from the Wraith kit, because I just like the way that motif basically tied in that motif that was already on the legs, on the calves and the thighs there. So yeah, she's definitely one of the standout pieces of my gang. Absolutely adore her. And she's actually the only one who's 100% ready just to get some paint on. With the rest of the gang, there's some light sculpting details to do on most of them. Obviously my tech need quite a lot of work, but the rest of them, just a few little bits of fill. I want to stick some grenades and pouches and straps on them just to kind of make them look a bit more like they live in the world and they actually do stuff. But yeah, that's where I'm up to so far with them. So I've just realised that I forgot to show one of my tech, and obviously this is by no means a playable gang as is. I could pull certain elements from it and utilise them at different times. I need to round it out with a couple more tech. Obviously, I'm no expert, and I'm always looking for new techniques and ways of approaching kitbash or conversion jobs. So if you've got any suggestions or any cool ideas or unique things that you do, then feel free to throw some suggestions in the comments below or links to Instagram, etc. Be good to hear how other people approach this. Anyway, thanks to everyone who's watched, subscribed, liked, etc. And thanks to all these awesome people above for helping me get this project off the ground. I'll see you in the Underhive.